Well, there's yet another bill that is floating around the United States Congress that is set to put the CFTC in charge of a huge swath of the crypto market. So in this video, I'm going to explain why this is such a big thing for XRP. But not just XRP, for the crypto community as a whole, including exchanges, which is not exactly what SEC's head Gary Gensler wants to hear. But nonetheless, this has bipartisan support, and it's definitely one to watch. Also, Bitcoin continues its global adoption as yet another country makes it legal. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what Panama just did. It's a little bit different than what El Salvador did in making it legal tender. So I'm going to tell you what some of the benefits are that Panama just did that makes it a much smarter decision in my opinion. And I'm also looking at one or two other altcoins right now that seem to be trending upward regardless of what Bitcoin is doing. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we are covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind community. And if you would do three things, I'd greatly appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch the video all the way to the end, and check out my Patreon link in the description below. Alright guys, let's jump into it. So the first thing I wanted to discuss was actually Bitcoin being made legal in the country of Panama. This is actually the third country that has given it legal status. Actually, it might be the fourth. But nonetheless, Panama is doing something a little bit different than El Salvador did. So if you remember back towards the end of last year, El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender in their country, which means it must be accepted by businesses. It's actually given the same status as other fiat currencies. But what Panama's doing could be a couple of steps better. Well, what they're doing is giving it legal status, which means if you're a business and you don't want to accept Bitcoin, you don't have to. However, you can accept Bitcoin and it's considered the same as fiat currency. So it's given the same legal status, but here's the best thing about it. What they did was made it so that there is no capital gains on Bitcoin's earnings. So when you hold Bitcoin and it goes up in value, by the time you spend it, you don't have to pay capital gains on that. That is actually a benefit over what El Salvador is doing and some of the other countries we're looking to do. So this is something that I'm going to keep an eye on, and it's one of those things that's going to push global adoption further and faster. Because doing things that are going to make it capital gains exempt is very big. Will that ever happen in the United States? I don't know. All right, so now let's talk about a bill that was just floated, and it's co-sponsored by both Democrats and Republicans in the United States Congress, and there's some really interesting people that co-sponsored this bill. Now, what this bill does is look to give the CFTC more regulatory oversight than the SEC. Now, that's good news for a lot of people in the crypto market. That's great for Ripple and other blockchain companies. That's great for Bitcoin. That's great specifically for XRP. Why? Because Brian Quintenz, who was the former commissioner of the CFTC, back several years ago, they actually formally recognized XRP as a currency, not a security. So why is the SEC going after Ripple? Well, yeah, you gotta watch this and a bunch of other channels to see that mega backstory. But in terms of what XRP is doing, the CFTC says, listen, XRP is a currency. It's no different than Bitcoin or any of the other cryptocurrencies. Now that's big. So James Filan, who is actually following the Ripple versus the SEC case, he laid out in a tweet thread what this could mean, so I'm going to read it. So here we go, as it was reported by Ron Hammond, who is the head of the Blockchain Association, the Cryptocurrency Lobbying Committee in Washington, D.C. According to House Agricultural Committee ranking member G.T. Thompson, who is a Republican from Pennsylvania, is linking up with members of Congress, Congressional Progressive Caucus, on a bill that would give the CFTC direct oversight over a huge swath of the crypto spot market. So according to James Filan, Ro Khanna, who is a progressive Democrat from California, also signed the bill pending legislation that would clear a path for the CFTC to take jurisdiction over large parts of the cryptocurrency marketplace, treating digital exchanges similarly to designated contract markets and swap execution facilities. This is huge because exchanges are the #1 target, the #1 bullseye of the SEC head Gary Gensler. He's made no bones about it since he became head last year that he wants to go after exchanges. The bill is expected to get introduced later today. This was about a day and a half ago, with Representative Darren Soto, who's also a Democrat from Florida, who, like Khanna, is a member of the Congressional Blockchain Caucus. Attached as a co-sponsor, Thompson and Khanna's legislation marks the latest entrant in a series of crypto bills that have been floated as lawmakers and federal agencies hustle to create guardrails around the fast-growing industry. The bill, which originating in the House Agricultural Committee that has oversight of the CFTC. So this House Agricultural Committee that has oversight of the CFTC wants them to be in charge of the regulation and oversight of the cryptocurrency world. It's a much smarter decision than having the SEC do it, the Securities and Exchange do it, because regardless if Gary Gensler thinks a lot of these cryptocurrencies are a security or illegal securities, it doesn't really matter, because as of right now, they're not considered securities, so they are not in the SEC's jurisdiction. They're simply going after blockchain companies like Ripple because they think they committed illegal security sales. So this is a bill that I'm definitely going to be watching, and I've seen on Twitter many people say, well, this is one of many bills that have been floated in Congress over the last year or so that seemed promising, but then were really dead in the water. Are they really going to make it through the House of Representatives? Well, if it gets co-sponsored by bipartisan, both Republicans and Democrats across the board, it has a much greater chance of actually making it through. So I'm definitely going to be following up with this. Make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind to follow up on this story as well, because I'll be keeping an eye on it as we go into the next couple of months. Also, I wanted to give a heads up on my next video, which I'm going to be covering Judge Torres' decision to speed up the process in the Ripple versus the SEC case, because James Filan, along with a couple of others, mostly James Filan, have said, listen, this doesn't mean the case is going to be over by the end of the year. He has some really interesting thoughts on why Judge Torres actually did this. There's a couple of lists that she wants to stay off of in the judicial world. So I'm going to talk about that in my next video. Make sure you subscribe as well as follow me on Twitter so you can stay updated. And also don't forget to hit that bell notification icon so that you'll be notified when I release that video. Also, I wanted to mention ApeCoin real quick, and you're probably wondering why, because that's on the Ethereum blockchain and it's an NFT market, and I don't really cover NFT much, and I don't really cover NFT stuff too much. However, today there was a big announcement in which the ApeCoin community, the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT community, has announced that there is a project in the metaverse that they are now going to be selling exclusive virtual land inside the metaverse, and it's only available to those who hold ApeCoin. So if you took a look at ApeCoin, well, it actually skyrocketed in price since yesterday. I checked it when it was about $18. It then shot up to $25, now trading at about $22 to $23. So this is an interesting story, because this is one of the few things that the NFT world has actually broken out into in terms of the metaverse. There's not a lot of storylines going on, but the Bored Ape Yacht Club is such a huge organization and is becoming more and more mainstream with things like celebrities, athletes now buying these Bored Ape NFTs. This could be something to watch, and it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to watch, that as well as ApeCoin itself. But let me know in the comments down below if that's something you're following, because even though it's not typically what I follow on this channel, it's a very interesting story. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.